Welcome back to the deep dive. We are really buzzing to have you with us again.
Yeah, great to be back.
Seriously, it feels like we just wrapped up our last chat, and boom, here you are again. Ready for more brain food, I hope. It's the best kind, right?
Oh, definitely.
And hey, if you're new, think of us as your slightly nerdy but hopefully fun friends. We basically wade through a ton of info.
A lot of info.
Yeah, a lot. So you don't have to. We pull out the interesting bits, the stuff that makes you think.
Ah, okay.
Exactly. And we try to serve it up so it actually sticks. And for everyone else, welcome back down the rabbit hole. We've got another good one today.
And yeah, if you liked our past chats, they're all still there, wherever you listen. Think of it like your own little library of, well, interesting stuff.
Okay, so let's dive in. You know that feeling like you're curled up, phone in hand, scrolling?
Oh, yeah. The endless scroll.
And it's just everyone else's highlight reel, right? Amazing trips, perfect outfits, nonstop fun. But underneath, maybe there's this little, I don't know, pang.
Mm-hmm. Like something's missing.
Yeah, bit of emptiness. Or maybe just wish I was doing that. Or just feeling kind of, yeah, despite all the digital noise.
Definitely rings a bell.
Well, if any of that sounds familiar, you're totally in the right place because today we're getting into something really relevant, especially I think for Gen Z. It's this total head scratcher, this paradox of being constantly connected, like hyper connected.
But feeling really lonely.
Exactly. Profoundly lonely sometimes.
It's wild when you think about it.
Yeah.
The sheer number of ways to connect now, it's staggering.
Right. You can message someone across the globe instantly, see what thousands of people are up to right now, find communities for literally anything.
Things our grandparents, even our parents, couldn't have imagined.
Totally. And yet, like you said, for so many people, this constant being on, it seems to be feeding isolation, not fixing it. It's not really meeting those social needs, is it?
No, it seems not, which is kind of the core of what we want to explore.
And that's precisely what we're going to unpack.
Yeah.
Look, we're not here to just, bash social media, although let's be real.
Who hasn't wanted to toss their phone sometimes?
Right. But instead, we want to look at why. Why does this hyperconnectivity, according to, the stuff we've been reading, sometimes lead to more loneliness?
And crucially, what can we actually do about it?
Yes. More importantly, we want to give you some actual concrete strategies, like a toolkit you can use to navigate this and maybe build connections that feel, well, more real.
So the goal today is pretty simple, really.
Yeah, leave you with a clearer picture of this whole digital puzzle and some practical steps to feel, genuinely more connected.
Okay, so let's really get into it then. You mentioned that scrolling and feeling feeling. That seems like a good place to start.
Okay, let's unpack this Gen Z loneliness trap. I mean, think about those everyday things. You're scrolling, TikTok, Instagram. It's just this constant flood.
Constant stream, yeah.
Everyone else's amazing life, perfect holidays, parties, career stuff. And even if you have like hundreds, thousands of followers.
Yeah, numbers don't always mean much.
No, that feeling of being on the outside looking in, it can just stick around. Or maybe you're in like 50 group chats.
Always pinging.
Always pinging, but the chat feels, I don't know, thin, like nobody really gets you.
It's that gap, isn't it, between the sheer volume of interaction and the actual depth.
Totally.
And the research, the studies we looked at, they really back this up. Consistently, recent surveys show a huge chunk of Gen Z, over 50% reporting feeling lonely.
Wow, over half.
It's a really striking number. And it suggests that, well, the way we're currently doing this whole hyper-connected thing, it's not quite hitting the mark for that basic human need to belong.
And what's really interesting and comes up a lot is how this constant digital buzz can create this. Well, it feels like an illusion of connection.
Illusion's a good word for it.
Yeah, because you're interacting all day.
Right.
Getting likes, comments, DMs. On the surface, it feels like you're engaged, like you're part of something.
But it often lacks that substance, that emotional back and forth you get face-to-face.
It's like being in a massive, crowded party, but feeling completely alone anyway.
Yeah, that quick double tap on a photo. It might give you a tiny little dopamine hit, sure.
Oh, for sure.
But it doesn't really compare to someone actually listening. Like, really listening to you, getting your point of view, offering real empathy.
No comparison.
These online interactions, they can be pretty transactional, pretty superficial sometimes. They don't always scratch that deep human itch for relationships where you feel truly seen, truly valued.
And that kind of leads us into the why, right? The psychological stuff behind this digital loneliness. One big factor, like we touched on, is just the lack of depth in digital communication itself. So much of how we connect is nonverbal.
Body language, facial expressions.
Tone of voice, all that stuff often gets lost, or worse, totally misinterpreted online.
Oh, easily.
When it's just text on a screen, you miss out on all that richness.
That's such a critical point. You could text someone for hours, literally hours,
Been there.
but you're still missing these huge chunks of subtle communication that build real understanding, real empathy. It's just so much easier for wires to get crossed with only text.
Yeah, and harder to feel genuinely heard when you're not getting the other person's full presence. Yeah, well.
Exactly. And then, of course, there's social media itself.
Yes, the double-edged sword.
Totally.
Yeah.
Because, look, the research points this out, too. It can be amazing for connecting with niche interests or keeping up with friends far away. That's real.
Definitely.
But that passive scrolling through curated perfection or even actively trying to keep up with every single notification, that can seriously worsen feelings of isolation.
Oh, absolutely. The passive scroll often just triggers comparison.
Why, absolutely.
You're just bombarded with these idealized snapshots of other people's lives, their best moments, their perfect angles.
And it's so easy for that to fuel feelings of inadequacy, maybe envy, and, yeah, ultimately loneliness.
And even being super active online, like constantly chasing likes and comments for validation.
It's a shaky foundation, isn't it?
Mhm.
For self-worth, for connection. It's external validation. It can vanish in a second, and it doesn't always translate to feeling like you truly belong.
And we can't forget the limited emotional nuance online.
Right. It's harder to convey complex feelings.
So much harder. Through text, even emojis, I mean, they help a bit, but
It only goes so far.
serious conversations can feel kind of flattened out, trivialized, and offering or getting real heartfelt support, it's tough in a purely digital space.
That reduced emotional bandwidth, as some call it, can leave us feeling disconnected emotionally, even if we're technically talking all the time.
It's like trying to have a deep chat through a thick wall, maybe. You hear the words, but you miss the feeling, the presence, the full connection.
That's a good analogy.
You know, thinking about all this, it definitely brings up stuff for me personally. There was a time, and I bet loads of people can relate, where I felt super connected online. You know, loads of followers, comments flying, felt like I knew what was going on.
I'm in the loop.
Totally in the loop. But in my actual, like, day-to-day life, there was this baseline feeling of being quite alone.
Wow.
It was almost like I was performing connection for this online audience, but I didn't have those really close, deep relationships where I could just be me, you know?
Yeah.
Share the messy stuff, the ups and downs.
Yeah, I get that.
And honestly, that disconnect really, it took a toll on my mental health. It felt like putting on a show, not genuine connection.
That's such a common experience, though, that feeling of being on, constantly presenting this curated version of yourself.
It's exhausting.
It is.
Yeah.
And the pressure to keep up, it can be incredibly draining and, like you said, isolating in the end. And I think it's important for everyone listening to hear that you are definitely not alone if you feel this way. So many of us have wrestled with these feelings, with loneliness, with how our digital lives impact our mental health. It's kind of a shared human thing in this digital age.
Absolutely. And just recognizing that, knowing you're not the only one, that's huge. That's often the first step, isn't it, towards finding a better balance?
It really is.
Okay, so we've kind of painted the picture of this loneliness trap, talked about why hyperconnectivity doesn't automatically mean real connection. But, and this is the important bit,
The good news.
the good news, it's absolutely not a life sentence. There are things you can do, proactive steps, real strategies you can use to escape that feeling and build more meaningful connections. Think of it like your personal escape plan.
Love that. An escape plan.
Yeah.
And like any good plan, step one is figuring out where you are right now.
Assessment time.
Exactly. So our first strategy, something you can literally start thinking about today, is what we're calling a mindful social media audit.
Okay, mindful audit. Let's break that down. It's basically about taking a really honest look at your online world.
Your digital environment.
Yeah. Think about the accounts you follow. Which ones actually make you feel good, inspired, make you laugh, or genuinely connect you with people you actually care about?
And the flip side, which ones consistently leave you feeling negative? Trigger comparison, anxiety,
Yeah.
or just, drained after you scroll?
Be honest with yourself.
Absolutely. And the core tip here is simple. Maybe sounds harsh, but it's powerful. Unfollow ruthlessly.
Ruthlessly. I like.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Don't feel obligated to keep following accounts that drag you down. Curate your feed intentionally. Fill it with stuff that uplifts you, teaches you something, or genuinely connects you in a positive way.
Don't be afraid to hit that unfollow button. Your mental health is way more important than someone's perfectly curated grid.
Couldn't agree more. Okay, so once you've started decluttering that digital space, the next strategy is about shifting focus. It's quality over quantity in connections.
Right. Moving away from just collecting online friends.
Exactly. It's recognizing that, honestly, a few deep, meaningful conversations and relationships, they're infinitely more valuable, more fulfilling than having this huge network of superficial online contacts.
So how do we do that?
Well, the tip here is about being intentional in your interactions. When you are connecting online, try focusing on asking open-ended questions.
Not just, how are you?
Right. Questions that actually encourage people to share more, maybe be a bit vulnerable, and don't be afraid to share your own thoughts and feelings honestly, too.
That vulnerability piece is key, isn't it?
It really is. That's how you move past the surface chat and start building those stronger, more authentic bonds.
Okay, strategy 3. This one feels important for setting boundaries. It's scheduled connection time.
Yes. Now, this might sound a bit backwards at first. Scheduling time away from connection when you feel lonely.
Yeah, seems counterintuitive.
But trust us, it's crucial. It's about consciously carving out specific times for a digital detox.
Like actually putting the phone away.
Turning off notifications, putting the phone in another room, setting specific no-device hours. Even short breaks can make a huge difference to your overall well-being.
So the actionable tip is?
Actually schedule it. Put it in your calendar like an appointment. Maybe it's phone-free dinner every night. Or an hour before bed dedicated to reading. No screens allowed.
Or scheduling actual offline time, like a walk with a friend.
Exactly. A face-to-face coffee date. Deliberate, meaningful offline interaction.
Okay, strategy 4. This one. I personally find this really liberating. It's embrace JOMO, the joy of missing out.
Ah, JOMO. The antidote to FOMO.
Yes, it's the empowering flip side. It's about consciously shifting your mindset. Stop worrying about what everyone else is posting online.
And instead focus on the peace, the contentment that comes from intentionally disconnecting and just being present in your own actual life.
Right. So the tip is focus on the benefits of disconnecting selectively. What do you actually gain when you step away from the noise?
Maybe it's more mental space for hobbies,
Deeper chats with people right there with you.
or just feeling calmer, more focused. Actively notice and appreciate those rewards of real life.
Love that. Okay, 5th and final strategy. This one's really practical. It's using the digital world intentionally as a bridge to offline engagement.
Yeah, because the internet doesn't have to be the end point of connection. It can be a really useful tool to spark real-world stuff.
Right. Think about those online groups you're in, the shared interests you find online.
Are there ways to take those connections offline? Meet up in person?
So the tip here is about being proactive.
Definitely. If you genuinely click with people online over a shared hobby, maybe suggest a meetup, a group activity, even just a casual coffee.
Use the digital as a starting point, a springboard.
Exactly. A springboard for building more substantial, face-to-face relationships in the real world.
And while we're talking practical tips, it's probably worth mentioning there are tools out there that can help with this stuff, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There are digital wellness apps, things like Moment or Forest, that help you track and manage screen time.
I've heard of Forest, the tree growing one.
Yeah. And scheduling tools like Notion or Todoist can be great for actually blocking out that digital detox time we talked about.
Makes it feel more official.
It does. And like we mentioned, there are even online communities specifically designed to encourage deeper conversations, not just quick likes.
So these tools can really help you take back some control.
Exactly. Empower you to be more intentional about how you connect, both online and offline.
Okay, so we're kind of in the middle of this chat about breaking free. Let's throw out a little invitation right now.
I'll do it.
Have you ever felt that pull? Hyper-connected but lonely. What's one small thing you've done, or maybe you're thinking about doing, to find more genuine connection?
We'd love to hear.
Yeah, share your thoughts. Use the hashtag digital sleepover escape. Seriously, we'd love to hear your experiences, any little breakthroughs you had.
It really does boil down to recognizing that just being surrounded by digital noise doesn't automatically mean feeling connected.
Intentionality, that's the key word.
Absolutely. Consciously choosing how you engage and actively prioritizing quality and depth in your relationships.
Totally. And, well, that kind of brings us towards the end of this particular deep dive into the hyperconnectivity loneliness paradox.
Hope it's been useful.
We really hope it's given you some stuff to think about and, more importantly, some actual usable steps you can try out in your own life to navigate this crazy connected world and find connections that feel, well, more fulfilling.
Thank you so much for tuning in and joining us for this. If you found it helpful or just interesting, maybe subscribe so you don't miss our next explorations.
Yeah, please do. And check out the back catalog if you haven't already. Loads of different topics we've jumped into.
We really appreciate you being part of this community, and yeah, we hope you'll keep exploring these ideas with us.
Absolutely. Let's break free from the superficial stuff together and build those connections that actually matter.
Couldn't say it better myself.
We will catch you next time for another deep dive.